But again, so of course, I mean, why wouldn't you talk to people? So I mean, that's like it's normal, So that's. But then I think that it's also like an attitude thing that. I think that you can look at like things that, of course, everything is difficult or everything is easy. Actually, everything is easy, and it's easy if you like think that it is easy. So just like make it so. And but actually, then I think also shouldn't be afraid of like doing things. So I think that is also like one thing. And actually, I was in Munich now with like a lot of these. Important people, so it was like this 24-hour event that Deutsche Telekom organized. So basically, Tim, who is like the CEO, and then his leadership team, and then they invite like these important people and me. But anyway, so I was there, and then of course, when you go to a place like this, it's not enough to just like participate. So of course I was sitting in the front row, and of course I wasn't presenting this like event, but everybody that was there knew that I was there basically. So you can't just like you have to always play to win. I mean that's like again okay, with the red hoodie it's like easy, but it was actually very interesting. So I was talking to a lot of these people there. And there was also one Canadian guy. He's been to Finland like a couple of times, and everybody knows this joke about like the difference between the introvert and extrovert Finn. And we were actually there with so the other Finn that was at this event was Pekka Lundmark, who is like CEO of Nokia, and he's a good friend of mine as well. And we were talking with this Canadian guy, and then about this joke about that the difference between the introvert and extrovert Finn is that the extrovert Finn will look not at his own shoes like the introvert one, but he will look at your shoes, so the person he's talking to. But actually then this Canadian guy said that actually, like the new version of that is that how do you tell a Finn? How do you know that somebody is a Finn? They will tell you. But that was based on like me being there, because I made pretty clear like that I'm from Finland and why I'm there, and I was sharing all these success stories from Finland. And I managed to get one of the German guys. He's almost 60. He's from this Chaos Computer Club. First I met him, so he started thinking that he needs to move here because of the freedom and democracy and like functioning society and like everything. And it took me 20 minutes to like make that happen. And I just told him about like a few things that we have and we can enjoy here. And what he said that Germany, everybody thinks that the country like seriously sucks, and everything is broken and it's just going down. And then I was explaining like about Finland and how like we do things. So then he said that okay, he has to move. So it's about sales. It's about always kind of like sharing your ideas, your thinking, and it's actually like a sales job at the end. That you have to sell your ideas, your products, your services all the time. That's kind of like what it's all about. All things, always. So it's kind of like a sales kind of thing, and you have to convince people about the value of what you are doing, your ideas, your services, your products. And I'm pretty good at that. So it takes me 20 minutes to convince any person, any company, any family to move to Finland if I want to do that, or to sell like any product. So that's kind of like what I do. And I think that also it's all about the people. We're sitting there because I'm actually going to Sofia to Bulgaria next week because my son gets out of the army on actually tomorrow. Then we just decided to go to Bulgaria. Why? Because I was at this EPP meeting, so the European People's Party. It's the biggest group in like the European Parliament. And I was invited there. Actually, I was in Munich the previous time. Was actually because of this EPP meeting, and I was invited there by my good friend Maria Gabriel, who happens to be commissioner in EU for.
It's her
a month ago. But anyway, there's also actually that story that, and it's always all about stories and how we communicate. But anyway, so I was in Munich at this EPP, so European People's Party. That's like the biggest group in European Parliament. So in Finland, Kokoomus, so the National Coalition Party, they are part of that group, and then you have in Germany, CDU, CSU, Moderaterna in Sweden, Högre in Norway, all these like, let's say, more right-leaning, kind of like center-right parties. And I was there because Maria Gabriel is part of that group, and she invited me there to be on a panel, and we had all these European party leaders. Manfred Weber, who is this like guy, Ursula von der Leyen, she's like, I don't know, something. But anyway, so all of these people were there, and then I was on this panel discussion with Maria. Maria wanted me there because she wanted to have this message about education and like everything. And then, so of course I did what I always do. So then I had this inspirational talk as part of this panel discussion that we had, and I was saying that, hey, you know, like I don't want to hear this bullshit and all this whining about the US winning, China winning, all of this stuff. We are winning. I'm from Finland, you know, like Finest Bay Area, Finland, Estonia, Sweden, highest number of startups, highest number of unicorns, the highest amount of venture capital per capita invested into local startups. And then I asked the audience there that, you know, like, and I used Estonia as an example, 10 unicorns companies. So 10 companies worth more than $1 billion. So that means, you know, if I look at China, 1.4 billion people. I was there before the pandemic. Professor from Tsinghua was very proud of the fact that, hey, China, very competitive with the US, 200 unicorn companies. So, you know, US and China are like head to head. Okay, cool, but if you do the math, 200 unicorn companies in China means 7 million people create just like one unicorn company. Look at Estonia, 10 unicorns, 1.3 million people. So you need, you know, roughly 100,000 people to create a unicorn. And then I asked the people there, all these party leaders, that where is Estonia? Where? Last time I looked, it's in Europe, it's in the EU, it's in the Eurozone, it's in the Schengen area. We're winning. So, you know, like you guys need to get your act together. You know, Germany, France, all of you guys from Spain, like, what the fuck? What are you doing? You know, and like we need to do that. And then I did this, so pretty much like these words. And then after my talk and when we had like break, I had a line of people coming up to me and thanking me that, wow, that, you know, these meetings, these political assemblies and all these like party people, super boring. That finally somebody like said like what it's all about. And then, of course, what I did there, I also took a picture. I sent it to Peter, who was in this Säätytalo doing the government negotiations, said that, hey, that I'm representing you guys here, you know, like in Munich and hanging out with Maria Gabriel and all these like people. And then Peter replied that I mean, like, I've gotten myself into a very important place. And I said, yeah, I'm more than happy to represent you guys here, you know, in these EPP circles as well. I'm not even a party member. But the background to why I was there and why Maria invited me is that 2 years ago Maria came to Slush, and then I ended up hosting her at Slush, and of course she was like super impressed, you know, like with all this, was in all these meetings, and then we had like all these like EU other member states were part of that like delegation, and then Maria invited me to all these meetings that we had like around Slush that day. And then she, in the end of the day, she had to come and rush off to the airport. Then basically told me that finally somebody understands what we need to do in EU, and she will never forget this day. Then we hugged, and she got into her car and off to the airport. First time ever I met her, and she said that she will never forget this day. And then I was invited to Brussels, to another meeting with all these like people, and then just hanging out with Maria and all that. And then I was asked that, so like, where did you meet Maria? That did you go to kindergarten together, or like, like where did you meet? Because like, and then I said, I only met Maria once, and we were like best of friends. So that's kind of like why I got invited to this meeting. And now, okay, long story short, but I was sitting now, having coffee, and Juhani had a beer, and then was messaging Maria because she is now becoming the Prime Minister of Bulgaria. So that's why I'm going to Sofia, and we agreed that we're going to catch up on Wednesday afternoon and see how we're going to make Bulgaria a better place. So that's kind of like the idea. We're going to start with education and all of this stuff. So that's like just like a normal week that is meeting with these people and creating the connections. And now when I was in Munich, I met with Marcelo, who actually is the richest Bolivian, I guess. He owns 4 football teams. He started his phone distribution company. He worked with Steve Jobs on like some of these like things back in the day. First time I met him, and now when I was in Munich, so we agreed that okay, I'm going to come to Bolivia. We're going to figure out how to fix education in Bolivia. And I've never met the guy before, but now we're like making this happen. So. So I think that it's like all about the people, and it's not what you know, it's who you know. Of course, it helps if you also know like a bit of the like what, but I think that it's even more important to know like where to go and like how to make things happen. So that's how I always done things, and I think that it's just what I do. So that's like a little bit of an example of what I do, but then why? I mean, I get asked that like a lot, and then I typically just say that I enjoy doing things. And and of course what Mimmi had said here, that you have to do things that are like meaningful, because I mean, why would you do something without meaning? And right now what we're working on is just addressing this little demographic challenge that we have in our part of the world. Basically, we need a few more young people, so how difficult can it be? Not that difficult, so we're just like making it happen and redefining the meaning of WTF. So you might not know what it actually means. Welcome to Finland.
Can you also overview after school until Rovio time and now?
Yeah, so basically I went to school in Pori, and the Swedish-speaking school, Björneborg Svenska Samskola, and so that is like a totally Finnish-speaking like city, so part of like the small Swedish-speaking minority in Pori. Then I went to Åbo Academy, studied there for 2 years. Took all the courses, typically take 4 years in 2 years. Then I dropped out of there, started working at the original tech startup that Bill and Dave started their garage in 1939 in Palo Alto, California. They're now long gone, but they were fantastic entrepreneurs. Not only did they start HP, so it was Bill Hewlett and Dave Packard, but they also started Silicon Valley. And I was fortunate enough to meet with both Bill and Dave when they were still around. So, got a lot of inspiration from them and from Silicon Valley and like all of that. Then I came back to Finland, worked at HP many years. First Finland, then Europe, then world, kind of like responsibility. That's also where Rovio got started, out of a game-making competition that I organized for young people in 2003, when our friends at Nokia were still making phones. Niklas, Kim, and Jarno, 3 young guys, students at Aalto, won the competition, came to me after the competition. I was the organizer, asked me what should they do, and I told them what I always tell everybody, that you should do what you love to do, and they love making games, so why don't you start a company to do what you love, i.e. making games. They started Rovio in 2003. Following 6 years, they made 51 games. The 52nd game that came out 11th of December 2009, Angry Birds, that then became like a thing. So it became the fastest growing consumer brand ever. 9 out of 10 people on the planet know the brand. We did like some studies, 93% in China, 91% in India, 9 out of 10 people on the planet have said, you're the brand, not too bad for something that started as kind of like a student project. And then, that became, games, animations, movies, consumer products like the works. And after we got the first movie out in 2016, left Rovio to do bigger things. So one of the bigger things, building the tunnel between Helsinki and Tallinn, because we need to cope with the growth and also like kickstart our economy on both sides of this like finest Bay Area. So now building the finest Bay Area, developing that. So Finland, Estonia, so Fin and Est. So it's actually the finest Bay Area, not because we say so, but it's based on fact, Fin and Est. And then we include Sweden because we're being nice, and they used to be part of Finland after all. So it's only like fair that we do that. And now we're basically working on making sure that we enjoy the highest talent density on the planet also going forward. So the finest Bay Area, it is really the finest. We have the San Francisco Bay Area, home of Silicon Valley. We have the Seattle Bay Area, home of Amazon, Microsoft, Boeing, lots of great companies. You have the Greater Bay Area in China, Guangzhou, Shenzhen, Hong Kong, Macau. It's the Greater Bay Area. You have the Tokyo Bay Area, home of many companies, but there is only one finest Bay Area, and that would be us. And what makes it the finest is that we enjoy the highest talent density anywhere on the planet. That's what is behind our success. It's the people. And now what we're doing, we are making sure that through Finest Future, we are bringing the talented young people from all over the planet to Finland to maintain this, bringing them to Estonia, also to Sweden at some point. We are already teaching young people Finnish, Swedish, soon Estonian, and then they come here, enjoy the best education on the planet. So you come for school, you stay for the happy life, and that's what Finest Future is all about.
Good.